everyone! How are we doing today? It is a rainy day here in the Metro Detroit area, and so it might start raining again at some point, and you might hear it because I do live under a tin roof, so there's just a warning about that. But other than that, I was gonna say other than that, everything's great, but actually in the world it's not. But it is still okay because it is the summer of Jimothy. Yay, Jimothy. Yeah, so Seattle declared that it is the summer of Jimothy with an official city proclamation honoring the raccoon. Look at him. So cute. That's not him there. That's just something from Seattle. But he's been kind of everywhere since we last checked in. He was in Roku City. There he is. He was in the Criterion Closet. Great taste in film. Loves Wes Anderson, it looks like. World of Warcraft. NASA Earth pointed him out. They, not like him, I guess, but they just gave like a little satellite image of the area of Seattle that he's been spotted in and just said Jimothy runs this city. And that is true. Jimothy does run the city. A Seattle baseball player, I don't know who this is. I don't know any sports people, but he wore a t-shirt that says Jimothy on it. And of course, the fucking White House had to get in on it. And Jimothy can't even say anything about it. Fucked up. They put a hat on him that says Trump was right about everything. What? According to a raccoon? Jimothy would never. He would absolutely never. There have been a lot of different clips of him, and it's getting difficult at this point because a lot of people have been making Jimothy AI videos, and some of them have tricked me for a few minutes. So I think this one is real, but I can't guarantee it. But here he is in a backyard, because I saw this one, it says Jimothy caught casually doing flips, and I was like, oh, there's no way that's real. But no, I think it is, because if you see the way he does the little flip, look at him. Oh, I don't think AI could make that up. Look at him, his little roll. Oh, the little jump he does after. It's so cute. They put him in RuneScape. Oh my god. Everyone's got a Jimothy. Now, it is possible at this point. There might be more than one Jimothy. No one knows for sure, but it says Fox 13 Seattle reports there may be more than one Jimothy roaming around. I say the more the merrier. People have also questioned whether or not Jimothy is maybe a Jimberlee. I don't know. I don't know enough about raccoons. I don't know how you say their gender, but I think even if Jimothy was assigned female at birth, he could still be a Jimothy. Or a Jimberlee, you know? Both are beautiful. Also, Punch the monkey had his first birthday the other day. Oh, shit. I gotta reset the sound 1 second.
Social media's favorite monkey is turning 1 today. Remember Punch? He went viral a few months ago with that cute little toy. He was abandoned by his mom and had a hard time making friends at the wildlife center just outside Tokyo. He was given a toy as a comfort tool, and slowly his confidence started to grow. In celebration of his first birthday, the zoo says it's received thousands of birthday cards from all around the world.
All the way on all the walls there. A lot of love.
Miss you, Punch. What a cutie. But that's just sort of our happy little intro. Moving on, some not so happy stuff, but some stuff that is hopeful, but relies on you, especially if, well, particularly if you live in the Michigan, I was going to say area, but if you live in Michigan State at all. We do have a mission on our hands. So this is the last time, because next week we're going to do the member stream. So this is the last Pop Girly News stream before the Senate primary election in Michigan. And it is fairly important that if you haven't voted yet and you live in Michigan, that you do vote. Or if you voted, I'm a little confused at this point because Mallory McMorrow, or whatever the fuck her name was, she dropped out a bit ago after the absentee ballots already started getting sent in. I've heard different things about whether or not you can change your vote if you did vote for her. You maybe cannot do it at all, or you have until the 31st. So if that applies to you, you might want to look into it. But if that applies to you, I have some questions. But it is very important. We need ABDUL El-Sayed as our senator, as our Democratic nominee first, and then we'll have the actual election later. So if you look, I'm not going to go into like a full spiel about his positions, but if you go online, you can find his positions fairly easily. A lot of stuff that I agree with: money out of politics, banning corporate money in politics, ending gerrymandering, Supreme Court reform, abolishing the filibuster, making voting easier, civil rights, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff you can look at. Medicare for All, especially, on his website. And there is a debate today at like 7:30, so in like 20 minutes. But I don't think you really need to watch the debate, because this is all you really need to know right here. This is what ABDUL is doing. It's all very easy to find. You can find his policies. You can find his positions. This is Haley Stevens, his opponent's positions. This is on her website. This is literally just, this is what the website says. So I'm going straight to the source to find out what the fuck Haley Stevens even stands for. And it is the most vague, ridiculously written shit. So equitable federal investment. Ensure federal resources and infrastructure investments are delivered equitably to underserved Michigan communities to strengthen public services, transit, and economic communities where it is needed most. Okay. Economic empowerment and access. Expand access to capital and training for underserved communities and advance an industrial policy that creates jobs, lowers costs, and strengthens Michigan's economic future. The fuck does that mean, Haley? Safer communities. Advance fair and accountable Advance fair and accountable policing. Okay. Invest in community-based violence prevention and strengthen common sense gun safety laws to protect families and rebuild trust. Sure. Lower health costs, advance health equity, protect science-based care and defend Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid so Michigan families can live with dignity, health, and security. Education, innovation, and STEM workforce future. Ensure Michigan leads 21st century manufacturing and innovation by investing in education, STEM, and job training pipelines and policies that strengthen the supply chain and prepare workers for the industries of the future. That sounds like some pro-AI bullshit. Water and infrastructure. Prioritize safe, clean drinking water. Invest in lead pipe replacement. That's the most almost like specific thing that is on this entire thing. Invest in lead pipe replacement. And fight contamination like PFAS, especially in communities most affected by environmental injustice. Okay. And then lower housing costs. Increase housing supply, support low-income families, seniors, and people with disabilities, and strengthen pathways to the middle class. Okay. Like the most vague fucking shit. And then over here you see very specific stuff like ending gerrymandering, abolishing the filibuster. And then if you click on any of them, you can get even more detailed information. It's almost like ABDUL El-Sayed actually wants to get things done, unlike a Miss fucking Haley Stevens, who's just taking money from big corporations. So this is the spending difference in the ads for these two candidates. So Haley Stevens has spent about $26.9 million, and then ABDUL has spent $2.1 million. So a lot of people investing, a lot of rich people and or corporations investing in Ms. Haley in a way that just kind of automatically makes me nervous. she's also just a kind of ridiculous person. And not that that matters. I mean, this is a clip that went around a bit that people pointed out for being cringe, and this one is at least cringe in like a kind of cute way, where if I liked her as a candidate, I would be okay with it, but here she is.
I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way. I am going to...
Haley. But here's another clip that's way more ridiculous and way more telling of what her priorities are.
I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
Yeah,
I will continue.
The Jewish people and the Jewish people only. Nobody else. Here she is talking to a voter. Watch what happens once he tells her that he's already voted and most likely did not vote for her.
That's awesome. One, I did already vote, early voted. Somebody is going to win. I do not want Mike Rogers to win. And whoever it is, like I said, it's not an issue. It's not a candidate issue. It's a human rights issue.
Yeah, right. Jai, what's your full name?
Jai, J-A-I. Singletary.
Just fully fucking walks away from him and like almost kind of
What's your full name?
kind of looks like she rolls her eyes a little
It's not a
bit.
candidate issue. It's a human rights issue.
Yeah, right. What's your full name?
Maybe not, but like just immediately went, yeah, right, and then walked away. Ugh, fucking ridiculous. But here's the thing about Haley Stevens, and it's a smaller thing, but it is something that like it's really bothered me about her for a while, and I almost tried to give her the benefit of the doubt for a minute, because if you've seen in all these clips where she's talking, she has a very particular accent. Kind of sounds almost like a Wisconsin accent, and I looked it up a while ago because I was like, is she from Wisconsin? Why does she talk like that? And no, she was born in Rochester Hills, which is a suburb of Detroit. Not a place where that accent is prominent whatsoever. And even then I was like, you know what? Maybe like her parents are from Wisconsin. Maybe people in her family. I don't know. Like, I don't know where this accent is coming from. But I didn't want to assume that she just made it up or was faking it. But I'm kind of leaning that way now. Because here's a clip of her recently addressing it.
Okay, some of you have seen, there's those cool kids on the internet.
Oh, fuck.
They're doing the cool kid chatter. Some of them might be the coastal elites, making fun of how I talk. Not okay. Says my governor. But let's be real. They're making fun of Michigan. They're thinking they're better than us. And what they don't know is I am your voice. And their jokes and their criticism only makes me fight harder.
See, now I fully think she's faking it. Because to say specifically they're making fun of Michigan, these coastal elites, that's not what Michiganders sound like, Haley. What are you talking about? And who are you talking to, also? I don't get it. For her to say this entire thing about how they're making fun of Michigan by making fun of her accent, as if her accent is representative of the Michigan populace, it feels like she is trying to pander to this idea of a Midwesterner and this idea of what someone from, like, the Michigan, Wisconsin-ish area would sound like, even though those are two fully separate states with a big-ass lake in between them. It feels like she's pandering toward that idea of what a Michigander might sound like, but it doesn't make any sense because anyone who lives in Michigan would know that that's not true. So who is she pandering to? Who does she think that line is going to work on? The people voting for you live in Michigan, Haley. We know what we talk like. And also, for her to do this whole coastal elites thing, it's like, girl, you're in Oakland County. That is literally the coastal elite of Michigan. You are from the richest county in the state. The county that is like the picture of white flight. Got a lot of fucking nerve talking about coastal elites. And what coastal elites? Like, people, a lot of the people who were confused about her accent are people like me who are from Michigan who are like, why does she talk like that? A lot of people outside of this state don't even fucking realize that her accent has to be made up. But it absolutely is. And you know what? Gretchen Whitmer's accent, also low-key, sounds like it's made up. I don't know if they're both doing it on purpose, but I definitely at this point think that Haley is. And also, for the record, she left Michigan when she was 18 and didn't come back until 2017, and that's when she launched her campaign. So, like, she hasn't even lived a majority, really, yeah, a majority of her adult life in Michigan. So where did you pick up that accent, Haley? This is so stupid. But of course, Gretchen Whitmer has endorsed her. Because Gretchen Whitmer also fucking sucks, dude. I mean, she's kind of... We haven't had a lot of great governors. So, like, she's one of the better ones, for sure. But she also is the daughter of a former healthcare CEO. Specifically, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I'm not super surprised that she's not supporting the Medicare for All candidate. But this is, they have been really going at, Haley Stevens' entire campaign is so fucking absurd. I want to show you a few things because I don't think people outside of Michigan are even that aware that this is happening. There's been a few ads that the Haley Stevens campaign has used to endorse Haley or attack ABDUL, and they're all so stupid. So here's an ad about Abdul El Sayed's history of misogyny.
A long history of disrespecting women. He called Michelle Obama's work with children uninspired and ineffectual, claimed Gretchen Whitmer was bought and sold. In a discrimination lawsuit, El Sayed was accused of telling a woman he didn't want to work with anyone over 40. And an employee said he was offered payment to keep silent after witnessing El Sayed disparaging women. A history of disrespecting women. That's the real Abdul El Sayed. UDP's response. Abdul El...
That's all you got? He said that Michelle Obama's work was uninspired and ineffectual. In 2010, by the way. So 16 years ago he said this. I don't even know what the specific content or context of that is, but maybe he was right. And then he said that Gretchen Whitmer was bought and sold. He was correct. Absolutely correct about that. And that's not misogynistic. And then this one about he said that he didn't want to work with anyone over 40 because he told it to a woman? Who cares? I don't want to work with anyone over 40 sometimes. They're annoying. And then he offered payment after... An employee was offered payment after witnessing him disparage women. Like, disparage how? If you can't give me any more specifics than that, I have to assume you don't really have anything whatsoever. But then Haley has also, in addition to that, because this ad is running on TV like all the time right now. In addition to that, Haley has been trying to trick people into thinking that Obama has endorsed her when he hasn't. And she's been sending out these, like, postcard things, or, like, you know, one of those mail advertisements with this quote from Obama saying, Haley Stevens was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back, which is from, like, years and years ago. Oh yeah, it's from 2018. So they've been running this this little clip of Obama saying that about Haley to try to specifically trick black voters into thinking that Obama has endorsed Haley Stevens, which he has not. He has not endorsed her, or I think even talked about her at all in this entire campaign. But here's a woman from Detroit talking about it.
Saying that your peers are going to vote for Haley. Is that what you're hearing from your peers?
The community that I live in, Northwest Detroit, O'Hare Park, a lot of people are not aware. And I personally sent 65 flyers, text to people with the difference between the two. And the thing is that Haley Stevens was not endorsed for Barack Obama. However, our community in Northwest Detroit has been flooded with flyers. Every day I get one in my house. It shows pictures of her with black people, her at churches. I said, where was she all this other time? We never saw her. And what she did 10 years ago, what is she doing now? Is the question. What has she voted for? And when you look at her record, she's voted for genocide in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip. And as a black woman from an oppressed people in the United States, I can't stand behind that. It's wrong.
Why?
Exactly. But someone who has endorsed a candidate, and maybe this will mean something to some of you, Miss Rachel has been donating to ABDUL's campaign. I don't really care what Obama thinks that much, and I definitely don't care what Gretchen Whitmer thinks, but I'll follow Miss Rachel into battle. But that kind of brings us to our next topic, because the cyclospora outbreak is still growing in this state, and it probably will be for a bit, especially because even with any precautions that people have taken, it takes about 2 weeks for the symptoms to show up. I know at least one person that has gotten it, and then I know someone else indirectly that has gotten it. But here's ABDUL talking about it.
Have you been finding yourself in here a little bit too much recently? Let's talk about it. Just recently, Taylor Farms lettuce tested positive for cyclospora. Or maybe they didn't. All of a sudden, the positive test got rolled back. It was a false positive. And by the way, just days before the FDA's backtrack, they'd met with Trump officials in the White House. But this isn't the first time Taylor Farms had met with Donald Trump. In fact, they're a donor to MAGA Inc. And they've been supportive of the Trump administration and MAGA for a very long time. Now, what does that buy you? Apparently, it buys you the ability to change a whole positive test. And the impact here is that it's not just Taco Bell. They supply Walmart and Kroger and Trader Joe's and Taco Bell and Chipotle and McDonald's. Now, this is a story about two things. One, it's frank corruption. The ability for one mega corporation to turn a test result that they don't like, even though there are thousands of people who've gotten sick from a product, that's a problem in and of itself. But the other problem is monopoly. Not only is that one corporation buying access to very powerful people to change an outcome that's making people sick, but they also supply so much of the rest of the economy that it's not really possible to get goods outside of them. This is everything that's wrong with our economy. When I say I want to get money out of politics, this is what I'm talking about. You shouldn't be able to buy access to overturn a test result if your product might be making people sick. And you shouldn't be so big that one product affects all of these other suppliers. This is just one example of everything that's wrong with the way that the economy and our politics get too close. So money out of politics means that corporations like Taylor Farms shouldn't be able to buy political access. They shouldn't be so big that they can rig the rules that they become one of the only suppliers in the whole economy. And yeah, their lettuce shouldn't be causing you diarrhea.
He's right. And Taco Bell really suffered for this. Like, the only corporation, not to say that Taco Bell is like, they're the good guys, but they were the corporation that actually took some amount of precaution. And they apparently, their visits have dropped by over 30% since the outbreak started. And in addition to that, which doesn't even make sense at this point, like, you guys, you can go to Taco Bell. They are not carrying Taylor Farms lettuce anymore at all in the entire country. Taco Bell is fairly safe right now. Maybe safer than a lot of other places at the current moment. But this Michigan couple is apparently now suing Taco Bell and Taylor Farms, which the Taylor Farms one, sure, do that. But I don't know how you sue Taco Bell for this. Like, Taco Bell didn't do it. They just got the same supply that they've always been getting and had no reason to think that it had this parasite on it. And so how many other people have also gotten sick from, like, Walmart, have gotten sick from Whole Foods, have gotten sick from Burger King or McDonald's or wherever else Taylor Farms is sending their shit? It is not Taco Bell's fault. But by putting all of the blame onto Taco Bell, and, you know, and Taylor Farms to an extent too, though Taylor Farms absolutely deserves a lot of the blame here, we are still just kind of missing the fact that this is a fucking regulation problem. This is the government's problem. And it has expanded to 9 states. It's bad. And I don't understand, like, why are our rates so much worse than everybody else's? We're not eating that much more lettuce, are we? Are we? Oh my God. But then not only are we dealing with cyclosporiasis outbreak, there's a salmonella outbreak as well. 1.5 million cartons of eggs have been recalled in 6 states. Also, this is unrelated to anything related to Trump, but Starbucks is bringing back the unicorn frappuccino, which I just think is terrible and worth mentioning. And then also we have a measles outbreak. Biggest record-breaking tally for measles cases since 1991, I believe. Everything's bad. Everything's really, really bad. And also on top of it, Trump has gutted protections for endangered species. He has canceled automatic protections for plants and animals at threat of extinction. Companies can apply for exemptions to build, mine, or drill in habitats, even if a species might go extinct because of it. Now, I have a lot to say about this. And I did write a lot of notes about it. And then I was like, these notes are too long. No one wants to hear me rant about bioscience. But I had been noticing things over the last, like, year and a half that seemed to be adding up to a weird kind of manufactured consent sort of situation. So I wrote my notes, deleted them, because I thought, okay, no one's fucking interested, probably. So I boiled them down to just one slide. Oh, shit. Of just a list of people that I do low-key blame for Trump's latest attack on endangered animals and plants. This is a non-exhaustive list, and I will not be explaining anyone that I put on this list, so if you have a problem with it, you don't know why I put this person here, and you can't say anything. But so, number 1, PETA. That one, actually, I will explain that one. PETA has been licking the Trump administration's asshole for years upon years. They very rarely even criticize the administration, despite the fact that they are, like, the most pro-meat industry, the most anti-animal administration that I have ever seen in my lifetime. For whatever reason, PETA really seems to appreciate them. The only thing that I've really seen PETA criticize the administration for is every year around the White House, the, like, egg hunt thing that they do around Easter. Every year they write an open letter asking Trump and his affiliates to replace the eggs with potatoes. That's the most they've done. Biggest animal rights organization in the world. So yeah, fuck PETA now and forever. But other people that I do low-key blame: Time Magazine, Barbara Streisand, The New Yorker, PBS, Sam Levinson, George R.R. Martin, Xfinity, and last but Most certainly not least, in fact, I would say I blame this person the most, Tom Brady. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, thankfully, some other animal welfare organizations are taking a stance against this. Humane World is suing the Trump administration, along with, I believe there's a coalition of like 12 groups, 12 other like animal welfare and or environmental protection groups, and then I think like 2 Native American tribes. So, yeah. Hopefully they succeed, and I'm glad that some people still believe in something. In addition to all that, if you've noticed your weather forecasts being really fucked up recently, that is also Trump's fault. They've taken down like half of the weather balloons, so we just literally cannot collect enough data to know what the weather is going to be like anymore, which is great. And earlier today, there was a tornado that hit parts of Appleton and Menasha, Wisconsin. I don't believe anyone has died, but it was pretty bad, and I believe it came on fairly suddenly. Here's like a storm chaser person.
Debris coming down! Flying debris! Right side rear inflow jet!
Yeah, and the damage was pretty bad. So this is Menasha.
This is really fucking bad. This is the main street in Menasha. This used to be the Manorfield. This is really...
Here's Appleton.
This is a big time tornado here.
Look at that car!
He's okay, he just got checked on. You check on him.
I think the police officer's upstairs. There's massive debris flying in the road. Look at that. Reed, look at the car. Oh my god. Jeez, that's really bad. I hope they're okay. Oh my god.
Hey, are you okay? You need a ride? Yeah, I'm good. You're a storm chaser, I see. Huh? Yeah, you got radar. Yeah.
Whoa, look at that. Those cars wrapped in the metal. I hope they're okay. Major damage. Look at this semi-slip. Big time tornado.
And then this is a before and after. So like this is what, here's like this entire little kind of community over here. Look at all those trees. That was before the tornado hit earlier today. Here's after. Just all gone. Oh, God. And it's not even... We're not done with all the ridiculous weather occurrences yet. Even this week, there is a threat of flash flooding throughout the, seems, entire Northeast area. So yeah, that'll be really cool. Katy Perry has at least spoken out against Trump recently. The White House posted something with the fireworks song, and she said, "I did not approve this. I was not asked, and I absolutely do not condone it." So everyone except for that one lady has spoken out against this administration. And Trump is already, so they did the White House Correspondents' Dinner recently, their like little redo from last time when they got, there was like a shooting, essentially. I don't think anyone actually like got injured, but like someone showed up with a gun, as tends to happen whenever this man goes anywhere at this point. But they did their little redo of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and Trump made a joke about running for office again, running for specifically the presidency again, to get a third term, or as he says, a fourth term, because he believes that he did win the election the second time as well.
I mean, here we are. In fact, when I'm finished, I'm going right back to the Oval Office, so I have to be doing okay. But we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official, in fact, I think I have, I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. Here we are.
He's gonna try to get a third term. They've been sowing the seeds for it for a while. I absolutely believe that they're gonna try, even though it is technically unconstitutional, but what does that matter? This is what the Republicans in this era of American politics do understand that the Democrats refuse to, which is like the rules are made up. They can do whatever they want. It literally doesn't matter. Now, thankfully, some people are still sane, including apparently Alan Ritchson of Reacher. I've never watched Reacher. I don't know anything really about this man except for one other thing. I'm going to show something else that I've seen from this man before, but this is an actor. He's in Reacher. He's in some other stuff. He's like an action guy, but seems cool from what I've seen. Here's him talking about Trump on a podcast.
It's like people, I think, are a little bit afraid of me because they're like, he's a loose cannon. And I'm not. I'm just saying the shit that everybody should say if they give a shit about humanity, you know? And why am I the exception to the rule? Bitch, everybody else speak up. You are all feeling the same thing, you idiots. Like get loud and stop like kowtowing to the wrong people. Stop bowing down to people that like have power. You got power too, man. And power in numbers, dude. You know what happened if like everybody felt like me? Everybody felt like, I got to be careful. I left Dax Shepard. I just did Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and I went on a goddamn rant that I left like, I was like, that's just not, man, it's just not me. I shouldn't say those things because people are going to start to get like, he's scary. You know, but I just like, dude, he goes, I love Dax. I had the best time on his show. And he goes, maybe you should let go of that stuff. And I'm like, let go. I was like, everybody else should have it. Everybody else should feel like I feel.
The world is on fire.
Yeah, like, oh, mad about the way things are and the abuses that are happening. The Epstein files. The fucking Epstein files. God damn it. Where are they? It's a fucking law, bitch. Show it. You fucking pedophiles. I shouldn't say fuck because I'm a Christian and people are going to go like, how can he say fuck and he's a Christian? Because that is something that should make you want to say fuck. Yeah. You know, sorry, God, I'm sweating now. This is my fucking politics, dude. I would fucking railroad these fuckers. I would get those Epstein files out in 2 seconds. Yeah, dude. 2 seconds. Fucking move out of the way. Like, get out of there. I don't care what room they're in. Bitch, move. Like, give me the fucking manila envelope. I will get you the Epstein files. Sorry.
You got my vote. Whatever you want to run for, you got it.
Don't you want to see what's in there so that we can hold people accountable? These fucking rapists? We're just cool with it? That bitch has the keys to the nuclear... He's like all up into 13-year-olds. Like, dude, what? Go to jail. Go to jail. All right, what are we talking about?
So, yeah, kudos to him for that. So the other thing I know about him, it's unrelated to the Trump stuff, but this is so funny to me. So, like a year or so ago, this guy went on TMZ and claimed, this is a video, this is like Alan's neighbor or something. He claimed that Alan beat him up, which he did. I'll admit that part. But we'll see, because there's some other footage that came out later. But here's his account.
It started on Saturday morning and I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I've been riding bikes all my life. So, you know, from dirt bikes to street bikes and etc. But I'd heard this incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. And I sort of like flippantly sort of said, "Guy, like he was quite a way." And I said, "Can you just slow it down, please?" And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, "You've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt." And it escalated quite quickly from there. I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. He did it again for a second time. I pushed him a second time. And I think the second time he got off his bike and it kicked the crap out of me. And you can see he hit me in the back of my head. I went to the ground and covered myself. I've had such a shitty day today, and I don't wish the guy any malice or ill will, but we just don't need people riding through neighborhoods like this. And I just decided, you know, I'm take a stand because someone else has to, because it's going to end up way worse than it could have.
So that's his version of events. Now, what he didn't know was that Alan, while he was riding his motorcycle, had a dash cam and caught the entire interaction. So here it is. First of all, it absolutely looks like he is going the speed limit. Like, it looks like, from what I can tell and what I read, it sounded like he was going, like, I don't remember. Something where it's like, oh no, that fully, like, he was driving completely reasonably in this community. So already the guy gets, like, literally jumps in front of his bike while he's driving.
Fucking kidding me, dude? Exactly what you said. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? For what? For what? For what? Stand in front of a fucking bike again, dude. For doing what? You threatened my fucking safety, bro. Are you kidding me? I should knock you the fuck out right now. Go ahead, knock me out. Go ahead. I've called the BPD. I've called them already because you'll be driving around this fucking neighborhood like a fucking lunatic, ruining. There's kids riding around here. Go ahead. It's all on camera. Go ahead. Are you drunk right now, bro? Go ahead. Are you drinking? Go ahead. Call the police. Out of your fucking mind, dude. Call the police. You're lucky I don't fucking knock you out, bro. Go ahead. Knock me out. Go ahead. I called the police. Unbelievable, dude. I called the police. It's on camera. You're riding around here like a fucking lunatic. I should have run you over, dude. You did. You did. I'm in my house, taking my bike. You're driving around like a fucking lunatic. I called the police. I can leave now because you're a pussy. Go ahead, leave. Drive around the neighborhood because you're driving around like a fucking lunatic. And you what? I'm gonna put an assault charge on you. I'm gonna put an assault charge on you. Assault charge on you, you fucking asshole. With these kids, you're an asshole. I don't care. Go ahead. Knock me over. Fucking move, dude. No. You. of your goddamn mind? What? Fucking stay down. Okay, I'll stay down. Fucking stupid. That's assault. That's assault. Go ahead. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, definitely different situation than what you're just shown in this video. I mean, look, he gave him every fucking opportunity to just walk away and he didn't do it. I don't blame him. In fact, I think he should maybe beat up more people. I don't know. I'm giving him that pass. Anyway, moving on to some bad men. Chris Brown has pleaded guilty to affray after a confrontation at a London nightclub in 2023. Glad to see him get in trouble for something. I guess his sentence hearing is in October, so it'll be a minute since until we actually know what he's in trouble for. But yeah, guy can't stop assaulting people. Diddy also apparently got into a fight in prison and got thrown into solitary confinement, which I don't believe in solitary confinement, period. But I don't know, I'm not that sad about it. Though I don't think it really helps most of the time. In fact, I think it makes a lot of people just more problematic, because it fucks with your brain quite a lot. But oh well. Justin Baldoni also has had to pay the New York Times more than $170,000. We love that. But some men do get away with things and get to continue on with their lives, including Johnny Depp, who surprised fans in costume as Ebenezer Scrooge to promote his film Ebenezer. He looks ridiculous.
I can only say that your family members Come back.
That movie's gonna suck. Aren't there 2 Christmas Carol movies coming out? Is one of them directed by Robert Eggers? Am I making that up, or is that a different movie? I think there are 2 movies coming out, though. Anyway, moving on from one wife beater to another, Brad Pitt's children fucking hate him. So, if you don't know, Brad Pitt, he assaulted, abused Angelina on a plane years ago. The kids were there. It was a whole incident. I don't know if there are, I'm assuming there have to be other incidents of abuse outside of just that one incident, but that was like the big one. And that was kind of the final straw, it seems, for their relationship. So Angelina and Brad have been divorced or separated or whatever for a while. The kids have pretty much just unanimously been on Angelina's side, though they're not like, they don't publicly speak about it a whole lot. One of them did once, but they have been making their stance clear over these last few years, as a lot of them have been turning 18. There seems to be like a tradition at this point when once a child of Angelina and Brad come of age, they change their names from Pitt to Jolie. So the first person who I believe did this was Shiloh, which was Brad's daughter. That was like the first announcement that I remember, but Shiloh changed her name to Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie when she turned 18. Now, this one was really fucked up because Brad made a statement about it at the time, saying that he was aware and upset his daughter Shiloh dropped his last name, saying he loves his children. And the quote is, he's aware and upset that Shiloh dropped his last name. He's never felt more joy than when she was born. He always wanted a daughter. This motherfucker is so fucking gross. Shiloh is not his first daughter. His first daughter was Zara, but I think he doesn't consider that his daughter because she was adopted. He's a gross man. to say that he's never felt any more joy than when she was born because he always wanted a daughter. What the fuck? Just so nasty. But then Zara and Maddox also both, they published something in the newspaper with their names because I guess in, what state was it? Oh, in California. So in accordance with California law, they had to publish a legal notice in the Los Angeles Daily Journal, like announcing that their name was changing. And so Zara is requesting that her full legal name be Zara Marley Jolie, while Maddox is requesting his full legal name to be Maddox Siobhan Jolie. Then we have Knox, who dropped Pitt from his name on his high school diploma weeks ahead of his 18th birthday. Then you have Vivian, who filed a petition in July, like most recently, to drop her dad's last name. And the final person, I believe, is Pax. He's kind of the most private. I don't know if we have any indication that he's changed his name yet, but we do know that he hates Brad Pitt because he posted this on Father's Day a few years ago and said, "Happy Father's Day to this world-class asshole. You time and time again prove yourself to be a terrible and despicable person. You have no consideration or empathy toward your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear when in your presence. You will never understand the damage you have done to my family because you are incapable of doing so. You have made the lives of those closest to me a constant hell. You may tell yourself and the world whatever you want, but the truth will come to light someday. So happy Father's Day, you fucking awful human being." So yeah, I would say that Pax's feelings toward his father probably skewing negative. Now, some outlets are still trying to push the idea that Brad Pitt is in contact with some of his children, including and especially Pax, because there was a few different outlets that came out with this headline of Angelina's son Pax maintains ties to dad Brad Pitt despite siblings' estrangement. Now, if you actually read the piece, he's not in contact with Brad Pitt, it seems. It says Pax still has a relationship with his dad's side of the family and continues to spend time with them. That's how he's keeping ties with his father. But all of his children, literally all of them, hate Brad Pitt. And that's what's like shocking to me too, is there's other people who do terrible things and whose kids maybe feel a certain way about it but continue to be in contact with them, continue like Miley Cyrus and Billy Ray Cyrus. They've obviously had a history. He's said things about her. She has said more graceful things about him, but for sure, even in public, they have had some tension, but they'll still like write nice things about each other on Instagram from time to time. They still do appear to be attempting to repair their relationship, whereas all of Brad's kids just can't stand him. And that's pretty remarkable to me. I feel like it must actually go really deep with Brad, and that's why I'll say that I don't think that the plane incident is, maybe that was the final straw, but it's definitely not the entire story. I mean, even the plane thing was pretty bad. Allegedly, he was like choking Angelina. I think he also assaulted some of the kids on the plane when they tried to intervene. But for sure, it's like that doesn't come out of nowhere. There's not just like one incident that this occurs with, so I think there's probably some stuff we don't know. And I do wonder if some of it will come out. Especially now that they're all 18, because it did seem like Angelina, or they're all like turning, I don't know how old Pax is. I don't know what all their ages are, but oh, he's 22. So yeah, I think they're all 18 now. But now that they're all adults, I do think Angelina maybe is gonna feel more comfortable talking about this stuff publicly now that they're not children that she has to protect. Separate of that, but similar, Suri Cruz or I guess not Cruz at this point, but she is apparently trying to drop her last name of Cruz, Tom Cruise's daughter. So she is using the name Suri Noel as her, like, voter registration name, which, good for her. God, they look so alike. And yeah, her mom, so if you don't know, and I don't know who doesn't know this at this point, but like Tom Cruise is very, very high up in the Church of Scientology, and when him and Katie Holmes, which is Suri's mother, got a divorce, I believe that Katie was declared a suppressive person by the Church of Scientology, so that essentially means that Tom cannot have any contact with Suri or Katie. And clearly she doesn't give much of a fuck about him, which I do not blame her. Now, another shitty man who is not as bad as far as I'm aware, but also not very good. I don't know if you guys kept up with all the Jason Sudeikis stuff with Olivia Wilde a few years ago when they were breaking up and she was like dating Harry Styles. But it was pretty bad. Like, definitely a lot of the things that Jason did, not cute. I would say seemed from the outside to me like there was some emotional abuse happening. But Jason was recently on Benny Blanco's podcast talking about how he had no sense of smell and a very muted sense of taste, which I find a little interesting given some other stuff that I remember from a few years ago. But here's him talking about that.
I have no sense of smell.
Really? I was gonna wait to bring it up.
I know, but with onion breath is like...
Okay,
real?
your whole life.
As far as I remember, yeah.
Do you have a weird sense of taste then, because you can't smell?
I have a muted sense of taste. I think it's taste bud based.
Wait, so how do you enjoy
like,
life?
When I see like his crazy stuff on there, like with like sushi, like uni with like caviar on it, I'm like, that's my shit, because that's got a lot of different textures, a lot of like strong
but you
flavors.
Can't taste it. It tastes like you're eating styrofoam or something?
No, I can taste it, but I'm tasting like, I think it's only tongue based. I get no nuance, and the even more like, I think incredible but weird thing is I don't remember what things taste like. Sense of smell is so connected to memory.
I can't even. Yeah, you live in a
they're
different
always
world.
tasty. That's why I get so Taco Bell so often. I'm like, what does it taste like? No.
You don't like Taco Bell? I love Taco Bell.
Love Taco Bell. I have no sense of.
So, okay, he can't taste stuff very good, but one of the big things when he was breaking up with Olivia and she started dating Harry Styles, it specifically surrounded a fucking salad dressing. He got apparently really, really upset about the fact that Olivia was once going to meet Harry and was bringing some of her signature salad dressing to Harry. Which we know that had more to do with control probably than anything else. He was just upset that she was going to go see Harry Styles. But he was very upset that she prepared her special salad dressing. It's like, bitch, you can barely even taste it. You're getting so protective over a salad dressing that you can barely fucking taste? And look at his little time's up button, too. Weirdo. Not as weird as maybe Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt, or Tom Cruise to that point, but got so pissed off over a salad dressing he can barely fucking taste. Ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Apparently that new America's Next Top Model season started, and Tyra Banks' bangs are looking fucking ridiculous. This is what I imagine Taylor's hair looked like during the wedding, and until I get photos, you cannot convince me otherwise. That looks awful. But it's high fashion. Maybe I just don't get it. In other television news, some YouTuber named Young Mooch, who I've never heard of, but I guess he's like one of these live streamers that just gets off on being obnoxious or something. And I think maybe he even met with someone from the KKK once. I don't know. But he apparently crashed the set of some TV show or some movie or something that Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill were working on, which... So there were some allegations against Jonah Hill a year or so ago, maybe like probably 2-3 years ago, maybe more. And they weren't like allegations that were so bad that I think he would never come back from it. But I have to say, I just find Jonah Hill, even outside of all of that, to just be a bummer. Like he seems like one of those people that's like always in a bad mood. And here he has every right to be in a bad mood. But just in general, I kind of feel like Jonah Hill is not pleasant at all. So I already am not super interested in whatever the fuck is being filmed here. But still, they deserve to be able to film what it is they're filming without getting interrupted by this fucking streamer. And I don't understand too, if they're streaming, can this guy get sued by the studio or whatever for possibly spoiling something? I don't know. I guess they're doing it in public, so I don't know how you would sue over that, but I can't imagine that a studio is happy about this.
How you doing? I just want to say hi.
Oh, we're working.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Good, good. Any advice you got to anybody trying to make it in LA?
Enjoy your life. Be a kind person.
Oh, nice to meet you. Thank you. Oh shit, how you doing?
I'm good. Please just give us a little
Wait,
space.
can I get any advice for anybody trying to make it in LA?
I would say don't fuck with people as they're trying to make their show. That's probably not a good idea. So.
I mean, it's hard to. No, just one question. One advice, please. One advice. Please. Just one advice. He gave us the advice. No advice?
Be yourself.
Thank you. Look at this, y'all. We just caught a mid-movie production. This is Los Angeles right here. Get this. How you doing? I just want to say hi.
Yeah, Twitch streamers are a plague upon society. Just obnoxious. Anyway, apparently Peacock is about to get bundled with YouTube Premium. Fine, whatever. Why not? The Paramount merger has been delayed until June of 2027, or there's like a trial or something. So whatever happens first, either this freeze that they've agreed to until June of 2027, or if it goes to trial sooner than that. But we're safe until then. From this fucking merger, which is looming over all of us, because if Paramount gets Warner Bros, we're actually like really, really fucked. So just keep an eye on that. Also, Pixar has apparently laid off about, it says several hundred people across the entire country, or the entire company. I don't know how many, like, what the percentage is, but I just feel like how does Pixar not have enough money to pay their staff members? Why do they need to do layoffs? Just fucking greed. Just pure greed. Also, okay, so Charlie recently shouted out Spy Kids during a recent, like, thing for her album, which was cute. I'll play that, and so we can feel nice about Spy Kids for a second, and then I'm gonna bum everybody out.
That director, Robert Rodriguez, made Spy Kids. And that is like a classic for me. That's something that I always go back to a lot. So I would say that. Fucking incredible film. Oh my god. The part that, like, I remember being gagged by was when they, like, just, I mean, no spoilers, right? Spoilers?
It's Spy Kids.
It's fine. Like, you should have seen it. You know what I mean? The part when they, like, find out, like, oh my god, our parents are, like, secret agents, like, well, this is crazy. And they, like, find the microwave. Right? And they get the packets of money, and you put the money in the microwave, and it's like, oh, we've got dollars. Like, now we're getting a burger. Like, amazing. That I was like, that is fucked up. That's so cool. Like, I wanted that microwave. So good. Anyways, so I go back there.
She's right. You know, that microwave is iconic. Spy Kids is iconic. One of the greatest children's films of all time. And someone, are you going to bum us out by revealing Alexa Vega is an MLM shill now? Close. You're real close. It involves Alexa Vega, aka Carmen from the Spy Kids franchise, but it's not an MLM scheme this time, though she has been doing that. It's kind of crazier.
How can we build a culture, like you're saying, of people rallying around these women to keep their children? How can we build a culture of light?
My best friend, my husband and I met at his Bible study. He's a refugee from Afghanistan. And when we were talking about what it was like for him growing up, in Afghanistan, where he came from, if the wives ever got out of hand, the husbands would beat them to sort them out, as they would say. And it was a very cultural norm. Nobody considered it bad. When they all came over to America as refugees, they were getting arrested like crazy because the wives were turning them in. Because here, culturally, it's unacceptable. That's what's happening with abortion. We're culturally accepting it, but we would never accept wife beating, right? What's the difference? They're both horrible, horrible things, and one is truly ending a life. We just need to reshape our culture. How do we get past that? It literally takes one person to be brave and move forward and speak on it.
How can we build a culture, like you're saying, of people...
Girl, what? So much of that was insane. And I don't even know what to say. Like, okay, let's take it bit by bit.
Rallying around these women to keep their children. How can we build a culture of light?
My best friend, my husband and I met at his Bible study. He's a refugee from Afghanistan. And when we were talking about what it was like for him growing up, in Afghanistan, where he came from, if the wives ever got out of hand, the husbands would beat them.
So already just setting up this idea. People in Afghanistan, it's just their culture to beat women. And it wasn't, she says it's not thought of as bad there.
Sort them out, as they would say. And it was a very cultural norm. Nobody considered it bad. When they all came over to America as refugees, they were getting arrested like crazy because the wives were turning them in.
So, okay, no one thought it was bad. It was culturally accepted, except for when they came to America, their wives immediately tried to get them arrested. So it kind of seems like maybe the wives weren't okay with it. Wasn't that culturally accepted if they took the immediate opportunity to get their husbands arrested? But then also...
Here, culturally, it's unacceptable. That's what's happening with abortion.
People definitely get away with beating their wives here. But what the hell does that have to do with abortion? Like, I still can't even understand the comparison that she's making between... I guess she's trying to say that it's culturally accepted, even though it's really not. I mean, it's been banned across several states at this point after the fall of Roe v. Wade. And even before then, there was always a debate about whether or not abortion was acceptable. So it has never been considered like just the norm. But okay, yeah, there is kind of a widespread support for someone's right to do it because that's a part of someone's bodily autonomy, and a lot of women specifically have supported it because a lot of women end up getting abortions at some point in their lives. So this is very, very sad. I knew that she was into like the MLM stuff. I knew that she was getting weird. I didn't realize it was this far gone. That we're now comparing abortion to domestic violence. But wow. Thankfully, she does look incredibly different, so you don't have to think of this face when you watch any of the Spy Kids films. Moving on. Spider-Man is premiering this Friday. Also, Ariana Grande's album. But I'm sure you didn't need a reminder of that. But this is... I don't even know how they're projecting this, but it is already being projected as the second highest domestic opening of all time. They're projecting a $345 million domestic opening weekend. I guess maybe because people have already bought tickets and stuff ahead of time, but really? I mean, I'm fine with it for this film, for Spider-Man. I think it's very odd, though. They're also projecting an $800 million worldwide opening. Oh, is that gone? I guess they deleted that tweet, but huge projected opening for this film. And okay, I think they've got, this film has a lot going for it, specifically Zendaya and Tom Holland. Here's them at a premiere, looking incredible, especially Zendaya. I mean, Tom looks nice too, but what an incredible outfit. Just looks so good. And Tom Holland also is hot. Just to point that out, here he is in Juicy Couture sweatpants, looking incredible. But they're really, really emphasizing the Tom Holland and the Zendaya of it all in a lot of these advertisements. So I can't play this because it's copywritten. Stop. Copywritten music, specifically Olivia Rodrigo. Stop. Why does it keep putting the volume back on? Specifically, Olivia Rodrigo's Stupid song is in this new social media clip. But it is just like this very, very romantic montage of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. And I don't know if that's the emphasis of the film. It must be, because I know, spoiler if you haven't seen the last Spider-Man movie, but I know that her memory has been wiped, so she doesn't remember that she was Spider-Man's girlfriend. But I'm assuming that that's a big part of the film, and it should be, because honestly, like, they just have such, obviously they have good chemistry because they're married, they actually are in love, but especially making them do all these promo stuff, these promo campaigns together, it's getting a lot of good moments, like this one where Zendaya starts moving and Tom seems like he's going in for a kiss real quick just to try to recover and act like he's adjusting his seat when he definitely wasn't. He wanted to kiss her so bad. But they've got that thing, I guess, being that they're actually in love. But it's so fucking smart to keep putting them out. I mean, they're already in the film together, so it again makes sense, but just, they really struck gold with this one. Because I will see this movie probably just for the two of them. That's it. That's all. I don't care about the rest of the Spider-Man universe at this point. I only care about them. So I'm okay if the Spider-Man movie does really well. That's fine with me. I think number 2 biggest opening weekend ever is crazy, but fine, I'll accept it. What I'm not here for is all these other announcements that got made for the MCU. Specifically this one, the announcement that Avengers Secret Wars will introduce a new universe, with Marvel Studios already having tentative plans for films through 2042. Is there something I don't know? How are these even that profitable at this point? Is there some sort of, like, tax thing? 2042? It's like we'll never be free. And they're rebooting a lot of stuff, so obviously they have to get a new Black Panther because of Chadwick Boseman's death. So I guess it's being played by David Johnson. I don't know really who that is, but okay, good for him. There also is a new Ghost Rider, which was interesting. It was announced at like some Comic-Con or something recently. Somehow Ryan Gosling has gotten pulled into this shit. I mean, okay. I don't understand, period. I don't understand at all. I feel like I don't know. I want to have faith in Ryan Gosling because I think he is a great actor, and I don't think I've ever really seen him in anything where I thought that he was terrible, but I don't quite see him as Ghost Rider. I don't hate those Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider films. I think that they're kind of campy and fun. And that's what I would want if they were rebooting the series. I would want like something that's really campy and over the top like that. And I don't know that that's really what the MCU is doing at this point. I don't know that they're doing that kind of camp. And so I don't know about this. I don't know. And I'm curious about why, because apparently Ryan was the one who approached Kevin Feige, or however you say his name, the guy who's like running all of the MCU stuff. It says Ryan Gosling approached him with a pitch for playing Ghost Rider. He's a huge fan of the comics. He did come to us particularly with a specific vision based on some particular comics. Now, I wonder a little bit if this has something to do with the fact that his wife, Eva Mendes, was in the original Ghost Rider films. I mean, if he's a fan of the comic books, I guess then he's a fan of the comic books, but it does seem a little weird that Ava was in the original, like, film series. And now her husband is making a new series. Maybe she'll be in it too? That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. But interesting coincidence, I suppose. This is the Ghost, I don't know. But you know what? I don't want to doubt Ryan Gosling, because I do think he's very, very talented. But I'm also very confused too. It's apparently being directed by Sean Levy, or Levy, however you say his name. And Ryan apparently said at the Comic-Con thing, Hall H, thank you. If we're really going to do this, there's only one director who could do it, Sean Levy. And as this person says, that's not true. That's not true at all, Ryan. Yeah, nothing against the guy, but if you're unfamiliar, this is Sean's filmography. Big Fat Liar? Okay. Just Married, Cheaper by the Dozen, the Pink Panther movie with Steve Martin, Night at the Museum, both the movies, Date Night, Real Steel, The Internship, This Is Where I Leave You. Oh, there was a third. I thought there were only 2 Night at the Museum movies, but I guess there was a third one. Free Guy, The Atom Project, Deadpool and Wolverine. And then I guess he's doing some Star Wars thing. None of that screams Ghost Rider to me. This is gonna be bad. And then there's some Lanterns TV show that's coming onto HBO, like the Green Lantern and stuff. I think it's a spinoff from the Superman movie that came out a bit ago. And this just also looks so dark, and I don't know. I'm not into any of it. Then there's a Big Bang spinoff that they dropped their intro a few days ago, and it does look like the intro is made with AI. It's hard to say totally, or if it's like actually AI, or if it just has that kind of AI aesthetic, but either way, it's still not really very pleasant to look at. But I guess they've got Danny Elfman doing the theme. Yep, there it is. For starters, that's a Danny Elfman themed song. Pretty goddamn catchy, right? I can't play it, obviously, for the copyright. And then it says, and how about them graphics? But if the graphics are done with AI, then I don't really care. And also, who cares about the Big Bang Theory? Yeah, that looks very AI. Oh, it's awful. Yeah, it just doesn't even look cute. Ugh. And then there's a Blade Runner coming specifically to Prime Video with Michelle Yeoh and Hunter Schafer, which I feel like they're both better. They deserve better than a Prime Video exclusive film. I mean, look at that. Like, every clip of it, you got the little Prime thing in the corner. Oh. How awful. And then there's Matchbox, the movie, which is literally, it's just the Matchbox cars. Starring John Cena and Jessica Biel. I think this is after their, you know, Mattel realized that the Barbie... Stop! Why does it automatically turn the volume back on? It's so annoying. But after the Barbie movie was successful, they're like, well, let's just turn all of our toys into movies. Here's a movie about cars. It's called Matchbox. Stupid. Ugh. And then there's also, I don't know if other people are interested in this, but, well, or just are interested in it, period, because I'm not that interested, but I was never a big Spaceballs person, but Rick Moranis has come out of retirement to do a Spaceballs sequel, so that's cool.
And I started talking to these folks and hearing who was going to be in it, and I spoke to Josh Greenbaum, and I heard that Bill Pullman was coming back, and that Lewis was going to be in it too. And it just felt like this is it. It's time, and yes, I said yes, and it is the best decision I've ever made. It was it's like family. And I started.
So that's cute. I mean, we haven't seen him in a minute. I don't give that much of a fuck about Spaceballs, but I think other people do, so that's fun. And I guess, I mean, the parody films are, well, I don't know if we can really say that they're coming back, but I'm good, thank you. But I know that there's that scary movie. Is there a number on this one? But a new scary movie is coming out. And here's the thing. I just don't think those parody movies are very good. I think a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for it because it's been a minute, but they were never very good movies. They weren't ever that funny. You can watch parodies on, like, YouTube that are probably just as good, just as creative. So, I don't know. But people like, yeah, okay, the Naked Gun reboot was great. That's true. People did like that Naked Gun one. So maybe the Spaceballs one will be good too. And then another kind of reboot, or I don't know what you would call it, because it's another adaptation. It's not like a reboot of the original film series, but the Resident Evil, Zach Cregger's Resident Evil trailer has finally dropped. And here's the thing. I've felt bad for Zach. Stop turning the volume back on. I've felt bad for Zach Cregger throughout this entire thing, because the second that it got announced that he was doing a Resident Evil film, I saw all the, like, film bros being like, oh, he's doing Resident Evil, he was such a cool director, and now he's gonna do this, like, corporate slop. Resident Evil movies are never good. And I was like, okay, well, let's give him a minute. We don't know what this new film is gonna be. Just because it's a property that hasn't produced incredible films thus far doesn't mean that he's not gonna have a good take on it. So I was defensive in the first place from the film bros being like, oh, he's just making a Resident Evil movie, which is automatically going to suck because of the IP itself. And now he is getting shit from the video game people, which was always going to happen. This is why, like, it is such a pain in the ass for anyone to make anything that is associated with, like, dude bro nerd culture. Because now he's getting shit on for not making something that is faithful enough to the actual video game, which admittedly, so I found out 2 days ago. I have apparently never known what Resident Evil was. I thought I did. When I was younger, I used to have these, like, PlayStation, I still have them actually, but I would play these PlayStation demo discs that had, like, short little, you know, like one level or something of different games to promote the games, to get you to buy the full video games. And so I had a demo disc that had not Resident Evil on it, but something called MediEvil. So this is what I have been familiar with. I thought that this was Resident Evil. Just in my head. I have mixed up the fact that it was called MediEvil, and I mixed that up with Resident Evil. I thought throughout my entire life that this is what Resident Evil looks like. That it had this like weird skeleton dude as a protagonist who lived in this like abandoned mansion or whatever in like a graveyard. I thought that's what Resident Evil was. I knew that there were film adaptations of the games. I had never seen them, but I had sort of seen the aesthetic of them. And I always thought it was really weird that that they looked so different from what I thought the games were. I was like, oh, they had an interesting take on it. Or I'm assuming there are multiple games, so maybe there are different games. And like the film is based off of a different game than the one that I did. But I've just now found out that actually this was never a Resident Evil game the entire time. And I did have I had a thought before. I was like, oh, maybe I can get the game that I had on the demo and I can like buy the whole thing, and maybe we could do like a gaming stream or something prior to the Resident Evil movie coming out in celebration. And now I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense because apparently the game I was playing was not a Resident Evil game, so it doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, that's something that I learned. I did not know what Resident Evil was at all. So I really can't say at all what this new film should or should not look like. But a lot of people have more informed opinions than I do. So a lot of Zach Kreger's time on this new promo campaign since it started has been taken up by him just defending his decision to change things. So here he is at some sort of convention or something.
Doesn't take place in the 90s when Resident Evil 2 came out. And it does take place in the snow. It takes place in the snow in 2026. That's why he has an iPhone, and because I took liberties to tell a story I wanted to tell and make the movie look the way I wanted to make it look. I am not doing exactly a one-for-one Resident Evil 2, adaptation. Like there are differences between this movie and the game. So I just want to acknowledge that. I don't think it makes the movie any worse. I think it looks really fucking cool to have a horror movie set in the snow. It's just I don't see enough of those. I like it a lot. So the snow, it's an aesthetic decision. It's just an aesthetic decision. If the barrier of entry is whether I do a one-for-one port, then I guess then in that regard, I have failed. But I think the movie is stronger for it.
Well, bro. And so not only has he been dealing with that for a bit now and all these like press junkets and stuff they've been putting him on, he also had something recently. There's a clip from an interview he did with IGN that has gained a lot of traction, and I feel bad, to be honest with you. I'm gonna open it up because of course immediately the first thing that he gets asked is about the changes that he's made.
Resident Evil.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Okay, so I'm going to get into some hard-hitting journalism right off the bat. There's a big elephant in the room. There's a lot of controversy about this movie. When it takes place, where it takes place, why it's snowing, why there's phones, but it's also 1998, but it's not.
Yeah.
Clear the air. What's the story with Resident Evil?
I take liberties. It's
Thank you all so much. We'll see you soon.
It's not 1998. It takes place in modern times. I know that during the events of Resident Evil 2, it's not snowing, and yet in this movie, I thought it would be better for the story and for the visual, whatever I'm doing, if it was snowy, and it's going to be a better movie for it. I am not trying to adapt a video game. I'm not using the characters from the games. I'm not telling a story that the games tell because I'm not going to be able to do it better than the games. The games are so well executed, and to me, like Leon and Claire and these characters, they exist so perfectly in the games that anyone I cast and any difference that I do with them would be probably to the detriment of what I was trying to do. It's kind of like when you have your favorite book and then you find out someone's turning your favorite book into a movie, and then you hear who they cast, and you're always like, no, you know.
That wasn't in my head.
Yeah, no, that's not what I want. I'm not trying to do that, you know. What I'm trying to do is make a Resident Evil movie that really is a love letter to the experience of playing a Resident Evil game. And to me, that means a couple of different things. I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna let you talk. Please do.
He's very clearly already got all of his answers prepared because he knew that this was gonna be an issue, that people were gonna have a problem with the fact that it's different from the games. But that's, I mean, that is kind of what you sign up for when you do any sort of adaptation like this, especially of something that's sacred to men. They get really upset when things are changed. But I'm always willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, give anyone really the benefit of the doubt if they have their own vision for something, but especially Zach Cregger, I feel like he has kind of earned it. I mean, he's only 2 movies in, but his first 2 films were pretty good. Like, those are movies with, like, a vision for sure. So, I think we just let him cook. But there was another part of this interview that's gone viral, and people have really been coming for this man, and I feel kind of bad, even though it is, admittedly, it's a bad moment. But it's not that bad.
Glue them together.
I'll glue them together, but I've spent way more time on the remake.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you specifically then.
Okay, great.
Okay? Welcome.
Hello. Okay, go ahead.
What are you buying?
Yeah.
Don't get yourself killed out there.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
What am I buying?
Yeah, what are you buying?
Well, the first thing I'm going to buy is probably the case upgrade.
Okay.
Okay, if I'm able to. What are you talking about?
Okay, what are you selling?
What am I selling? I sell all the crossbow bolts.
Okay, I thought you were going to be like, I'm selling this movie, but I like the crossbow.
Oh, I thought we were talking, what am I selling? Okay, yeah, sure.
Stranger, what do you need that for?
What am I supposed to say to this?
I don't know, anything you want.
Move on.
Is that all, stranger?
Is that all?
Come back anytime.
Come back anytime.
There we go.
Okay, great.
There it is. Okay, one more question. Barbarian and Weapons are some of my favorite movies of all time.
Like, it is, I mean, it's just uncomfortable. So, I don't play the games. I don't know enough of, I mean, clearly I didn't know what Resident Evil was until 2 days ago. But so I have no idea what they're referencing here. I'm assuming that this is, I'm sure this is all references to the game. And so you can see him, like, he already looks not annoyed, but like somewhat deflated when he first gets asked this question, but he does seem game. He's like, okay, you know what? I'll play along with what this guy wants to do.
Game of all time.
Yeah.
Are you talking original or remake? Or do you just
out there. Okay, go ahead.
He even gets into position. He's like, okay, I'm going to answer your questions, dude. And then he...
Buying.
Yeah.
Don't get yourself killed out there.
I'm assuming...
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
That's got to just be a quote from the game. Like, they're just quoting back and forth. A very millennial thing to do, where we just quote things to each other as a form of conversation. But then when he gets asked these questions, he does answer them the way that he would just talking about his gameplay. And the guy clearly had like some other idea in his head about how Zach was going to use this to pitch the movie or whatever. So it is just like uncomfortable because Zach didn't know what he was supposed to be answering with. This guy won't move on. It is uncomfortable to watch, but people are really going for this guy. And I'm just like, look, he set up a moment that didn't work out the way that he thought that it was going to. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad. Everyone's making fun of this man. And I'm like, well, he didn't do anything that was like offensive. He just kind of missed the moment. He didn't quite, he had an idea and it didn't work out. That's it. That's all that happened. And then he even he commented here in IGN pinned it. He said, thank you to everyone, especially Zach, for pushing through my stupid RE4 merchant quotes bit that started out strong and then failed spectacularly. My producer was in my ear telling me we had to cut the interview short, so I rolled into that section without prepping Zach properly, and the result was a hot mess. You can hear us joking about it after the shoot ends. Can't win 'em all, Brian. He handled it well. I'm sorry that everyone is making fun of you, sir. I think that there are more things to be making fun of in the world, but it was definitely an uncomfortable moment. Now, there's something else from this film that is getting a little bit of discourse going. So apparently Austin Abrams, who's the main guy in the film, he didn't want to use VFX during the filming, I suppose. So they use cranes with a 150-pound body-sized blood bags of liquid that was, one of which was accidentally released too early and came inches from hitting Abrams, which is the take that's used in the film. I'm assuming it's this one right here, maybe? That one that falls like right next to him. It says tons of rehearsal had been done in preparation, but if he had been one step to the right, it would have killed him. The shot is in the movie, so it's fucking worth it. I was pretty stunned. That's a quote from Zach Kreger. Which, like, I understand what he's saying. Like, it was worth it in the end. It all turned out fine. But kind of makes it seem like you're just moving past the fact that one of these body bags was released too early and almost killed your actor. So, as this person says, as much as I'm excited for this movie, near-death experiences during filming is not a flex. It's in fact a sign of incompetence and should not be romanticized. Like, yeah, that is a little, I mean, that is essentially something went off too early in the filming of the Twilight Zone film with the helicopter. Something went off too early. It crashed on a set. It killed 3 people. So, yeah, definitely not something that we need to just be celebrating like that. Even though I'm sure they were just excited that they got a shot that looks really cool. But yeah, that's a little worrying. Little bit. Now, Obsession is still doing incredibly well. It has now grossed $458 million at the global box office, which makes it one of the highest grossing horror films ever. And it had a production budget of less than $1 million. It had about $750K. So, fucking incredible. I've seen people point out the fact that the guy who plays, like, the main guy, I forget what his name, Bear. The guy who plays Bear, he does kind of look like Charlie Kirk, and now I can't unsee it. Do you see it? A little bit? Anyway. The Odyssey is also still doing incredibly well. It is, I think I have it in my notes here. It broke some kind of, it's like projected to earn over $1 billion. Yeah. It is now at $639 million worldwide. It is expected to earn at least $1.3 billion worldwide, which I have to imagine it's going to earn maybe even more than that because it hasn't premiered in China yet. So apparently it's going to premiere in mainland China on August 14th with the vast majority of IMAX China dedicating nearly 800 screen network just to the film. So Nolan and Matt Damon are set to arrive in Beijing on July 30th for what is billed as the first ever red carpet event held for a commercial film at the China National Film Museum, a government institution that also hosted the original Chinese launch of Avatar. So yeah, this movie is gonna make a fuck ton of money. And I just can't believe, too, it is so funny that this is the movie that conservatives tried making a culture war out of. I will never be able to wrap my head around it, and I do think it's important culturally for us to make fun of them. Because they do deserve to be made fun of, period, but especially for this, it's like, how lost can you be in your culture war, go woke, go broke shit, that you think that a Christopher Nolan movie is gonna do badly? We really, really should be making fun of them all the fucking time. Because this is like the biggest example of their absolute detachment from reality. To think that this film wasn't gonna do well. But there's still some of them. I think a lot of people have jumped off board from this one. But Elon Musk is still trying to get this whole culture war thing going. He's still clinging to it. He said that Grok will be making a full-length, historically accurate version of the Odyssey before the end of the year. Okay. What does that even mean, historically accurate? It didn't happen. It's not a real story. What? But someone who is also apparently very upset at the Odyssey, but for different reasons, Emily Wilson, who did the translation of the Odyssey years ago that also got conservatives pissed off, she has written a very, very scathing review that got published, I think, earlier today or yesterday. And it is... I already, like, the last time we talked, I had seen some of the stuff that Emily was saying about the film, and I was already just very confused about her beef with the dog and with that entire narrative, where she said that it was, like, modern sentimentality to have the dog so prominently featured in the film, which the dog isn't even in the film that much, but I'm very confused because Nolan didn't really change much about that story, like, at all. So I'm still very confused about that, and she does mention it in this review, too. She says, but unlike Matt Damon, the wax-free Odysseus, who is tied to the mast as he is conveyed past the sirens, naked ladies reclining on some uncomfortable-looking rocks, which that part also confuses me. I don't remember the actual sirens ever being shown on screen at all, so I don't know why she's saying on some uncomfortable looking rocks like she was seeing the rock. I mean, I guess you do kind of see the rocks, but you don't see the naked ladies on top of it. Do you? Did I misremember something? I don't remember seeing the sirens, period, in the film. And she says, I gaze at the shipwrecks and bloodbaths without any agony of emotion. My eyes stayed dry, even for Argos the dog, whose adorableness as a puppy is predictably amped up to suit our animal-loving times. Girl, our animal-loving times? Trump just made it legal for us to, like, allow animals to go extinct. I don't know. Oh, the sirens were out of focus. Okay, yeah, so that would make sense. So I just don't remember. It was probably so out of focus that I don't even remember them being naked, but I guess they were. But this idea that, like, how Nolan portrays the dogs in the film is, like, overly modern. I don't understand why she is so specifically annoyed about that, because I just don't even think that that's true. I mean, there are multiple dogs, puppies get thrown off cliffs, other dogs do die. I guess maybe that's like trying to tug at our heartstrings because we don't like to see dogs die, but I don't think that that's as modern as she is acting like it is. But okay. She goes on to say a whole bunch of other stuff too, though. She says, So she says, the race-neutral casting of Nolan's Odyssey was inevitably deplored in some quarters, but there is nothing progressive about it. Most of the non-white actors, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Himesh Patel, Corey Antonio Hawkins, Travis Scott, play versions of the black best friend whose only role in the drama is to provide aid to the white protagonist. And I think you could definitely say that some of the actors got shortchanged because of the amount that they're in the film, but I think that that has more to do with just the pacing of the film in general and the way that Nolan was trying to, like, cut it down to the most impactful moments, because I don't think it's only them that have that problem where their roles got cut down. But I just don't really agree with this framing about them playing the black best friend whose only role is to provide aid to the white protagonist. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, Lupita, I don't think that either Helen or Clytemnestra, that's a description of those characters. I think you could definitely say that they're not in the story enough. But Himesh Patel, I mean, he pushes back on. I don't agree with that characterization of his character at all. And then Corey Antonio Hawkins, I don't even remember who he plays. I don't even know who that is. But then Travis Scott, he's the bard. So, like, the entire story, he doesn't even have any real connection to any of the white characters personally. He's telling the story. I'm very, very confused by this take. And then she says, Scott, as the Ithacan bard, Phineas, yells a few words and pounds a stick, but does not get to sing, tell a story, or play the lyre. So that's your complaint, that he doesn't sing or play the lyre? I mean, that's so nitpicky. It's a different story. Okay. Nyong'o's double part as Helen and Clytemnestra is hugely underwritten. I guess you can make that argument, but I would just say that, like, I think that it's still in a very impactful role. I think that the writing is just not, like, super on the surface. It's not, like, in the dialogue necessarily. It's kind of more implied, but okay, sure. She is given only a few minutes of screen time to perform a set of brief tableau of female victims. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, sure. But then she also goes on. Where was the other part? Yeah, she says, there are no gods, and yet shipwrecks and death are presented as the inevitable consequence of blinding the son of Poseidon and devouring the cattle of the sun. Zeus's law is portrayed as being crucially important, and yet there is no Zeus. Yeah, that was kind of the point of the film, though. It was more kind of from the character's perspective and what they would have seen or not seen. So I don't think that the gods really need to be in the film that much. And then she says, as they say at the award shows, I was humbled to learn that Nolan has read at least the first line of my translation of the Odyssey into iambic pentameter. In at least one interview, he cited my version of the first line of the poem, but I would be ashamed to have written any part of the script. Like, well, girl, but you didn't. You didn't write the script. I mean, it's a different story than the one you would have written, and that's kind of the difference, is that he wasn't trying to do like a one-for-one adaptation of your story. He was making his own story and was kind of inspired by yours in some ways, but it's a different thing. I mean, it does definitely, I think that she has an expertise in the Odyssey that makes her perspective kind of valuable, and she does bring stuff up in here where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that would have been more effective to explore certain themes, but it's just, that's not the movie that Christopher Nolan made. It is a different story. And I don't know. I think that she is a little bit doing like a dude bro thing of like, this was not adapted the way that I would have wanted it to be adapted, so therefore it's bad. And she says, Nolan's Odyssey lacks many of the elements that make the poem great. It has nothing convincing to say about time, memory, history, war, or about the relationship between one warrior's glorious return in the lives of his family, adversaries, comrades, friends, and neighbors. It lacks psychological, emotional, political, and ethical depth. Its narrative structure is gimmicky. The writing is abysmal. None of the characters has convincing motivation for their actions or words. There are no sex scenes, and all the food looks horrible. Like, okay. Girl, just make your own movie at this point. I mean, I know it's not as simple as that, but it's a different thing. It's an adaptation. It's not supposed to just be a telling of the Odyssey as other people have heard it. Even in your translation, like the things that people got upset with you for changing, or not changing, but like adapting the vernacular and stuff to be more modern, you know, people got upset about that, but you were still telling the Odyssey pretty like beat for beat, you know. It's still the Odyssey. It's not an adaptation like what Christopher Nolan is doing. So, you know, just a little much, I think. A little much. But, you know, it is what it is. I think that she feels very attached to one version of the story and wanted to see that brought to life, and that didn't happen, so she is not happy about it. And then Matt Damon, apparently, we knew that he was doing a video with the Daniels, but now there's a description of what the film is. He says it's The Breakfast Club meets Inception meets an anime film meets an episode of the John Oliver show that didn't get aired. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm gonna let him cook. But I don't understand. And then Robert Pattinson, the promotion for the primetime film is amping up. Looks incredible. It's their new poster. He's playing Chris Hansen. And as someone on Twitter said, he is kind of running for White Boy of the Year. The trophy is being engraved as we speak. It's either him, Tom Holland. Yeah, I think it's him and Tom Holland for White Boy of the Year. But I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this one looks so fucking good. And he also said something on the red carpet while talking about the Odyssey that I thought was interesting.
How fun is it to play a character that everyone is not rooting for?
I think they will be rooting for him.
You think so?
I keep comparing, it's kind of like Jacob in Twilight.
There's
It's
someone
like
for everyone.
Penelope, what the Odyssey is about, Penelope just can't make her mind up between the two guys, and I'm just trying to like help her make a decision.
And you're just like, gaslight, go boss.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
So it's like, it's fine. He's dead. Get over it.
How fun is it to play?
I mean, that's certainly a take that you can have. It's... I would say not exactly correct, but it's a take. It's a take that a person can have. And I will say that, like, it is hitting on something about the entire Twilight love triangle thing that I've always found I don't want to put too much judgment on it, but I do think that the Team Jacob women, they concern me a little bit. They concern me a little. Because I do think that Jacob in the Twilight series, maybe not as bad as Antinous, I don't even remember how to say his name, but maybe not as bad as like the obvious villain of the Odyssey, but Jacob definitely really does suck, even more than Edward, and I've always been a little bit weirded out. And and Edward is also a creep too, so I don't want to defend him. But sometimes when I watch those movies and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of girls that were really into Jacob, I'm just like, wow, I'm a little afraid for them. Just a little bit. Because he's just so fucking creepy and weird. So maybe Robert had a point. Maybe he really is just kind of playing the Jacob of this film. But moving on to some more kind of music-related stuff, apparently there is a documentary about Lily Allen in production that is coming to Prime Video in 2027. It will offer an intimate portrait of the life and career of a global icon and voice of a generation and chart her journey from Queen of MySpace to present day. That's cute. Love that. Also, Purple Rain, the film, is apparently going to receive a Broadway stage adaptation next year. So, love it. Very, very cute. Now, related to film and this whole idea that people have had for the last couple years that like cinema is dying when it's just so very clearly not. I mean, Odyssey, record breaking. Toy Story 5, I think maybe broke a few records. Odyssey, or not Odyssey, I just said Odyssey. Obsession doing incredibly, incredibly well. Backrooms doing incredibly, incredibly well. Film is in a great spot, especially at the box office, making a lot of money. What's maybe in more of a crisis, as this person says, is the music industry. Because who the fuck is Ella Langley? And how did she just break long-standing records without me ever having heard of this woman's name or this song that has apparently been #1 on Billboard for about 15 weeks? Music is doing very, very well right now in terms of like the amount of content we're getting. We are getting so much music from so many women, so many of our girls. We are being very, very fed. But what is happening on the fucking charts at this point? I know that like the charts don't matter or whatever, but like they did indicate something for a minute, you know? They were something that you could at least look to be like, oh yeah, that was a popular song that a lot of people knew. I've never heard this song in my life. Choosing Texas by Ella Langley, even though last week it was being announced, this was the first I'd ever heard of it. It was when it was being announced as the longest running, as being tied as the longest running non-holiday female solo #1 hit in history on the Hot 100, tying with I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston and We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. It has since broken that record because it stayed #1 for another week. So it is now the longest running #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 chart of the 21st century or something, or like a female artist. There's some sort of like, there's some little asterisk next to this record anyway. But like, what the I've never heard of this song in my life. And I know it's like a country song and I don't listen to country music, so I guess it makes sense, but like, even before when like a country song got really big, I had heard it. Like I've heard of that Morgan Wallen song that like, last night we let the liquor talk. I know that one. And I know other country songs. But I've never heard Choosing Texas in my fucking life. And now it's got a record above Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. I can't. And I guess it's probably just a thing with like streaming and the ways that streaming numbers can be so easily manipulated. But it is just kind of a shame that Billboard charts really don't fucking mean shit anymore. And I guess they never meant that much, but it feels like there should be some sort of aggregate for us to track the cultural relevance of a song, you know? What a shame. And I'm sure Ella Langley, maybe it's a good song, maybe she's a good person, I don't know. But I just find it incredible that something can come out of nowhere like this. And Rolling Stone is writing articles saying, admit it, Choosing Texas is the song of the summer. With 14 weeks and counting atop the charts, why is it so hard for us to call 2026 the summer of Ella Langley? Well, because I've never fucking heard of her before. That's why it's hard for me to do it. I've never heard this song. I've never heard of this woman. That's why. That's why. And as Matt Bernstein said, and I agree, I do not have anything against Ella Langley, but I think categorically, if a song is not being played in a single gay club anywhere, it is not the song of the summer. Yeah, fully. Fully. Oh, she performed at the Kid Rock show? Ew. Gross. Okay, yeah, so fuck Ella Langley, I suppose. But apparently she's been kind of around for a minute because I guess when I Googled her name, I saw that she received the Powerhouse Award at the 2026 Women in Music event in February, so I guess other people have heard of her. I've never fucking heard of her before in my life, but I don't know. Someone who I have heard of, however, Bebe Rexha, who will be performing on Jimmy Fallon tonight in just a few hours. That's exciting. She has been, I'm not going to say that she's fully, see, this is where we really could have had the conversation about like the Kaya Asylum, because I do think that there's nuance to using the term Kaya Asylum and when it's being used appropriately and when it's not. I think that the most appropriate use for the term is when there's someone who very, very clearly wants to be like a mainstream act, but is being kind of confined to a more niche audience. They haven't broken through as like a big name quite yet. And Bebe is sort of the epitome of that because she clearly wants to get out. She tweeted this in January of all the other girls that have apparently gotten out of the Kaya Asylum. Who is that? Was it Tinashe? I don't know that I would say Tinashe's out, but there's Tate, Sabrina, Charlie, Zara, and then Bebe. She would like to be next. She says, guys, please help me. It's so lonely in here. She also did a paper magazine shoot like a month or so ago where she is playing with the idea that she's in the asylum. So she's very, very much trying to make it out. And she is making progress for sure. She is performing on Jimmy Fallon, for one thing. But then she also was the first American pop star to perform at Tomorrowland, which is the world's biggest electronic festival. So that's something. Making big, big strides. But I don't know where it's all going. I guess we'll see. Maybe the Jimmy Fallon performance will really... Because sometimes it does take that. Sometimes it does just take being put onto like a platform, onto a medium where like the real general public could be watching, because people do still watch TV. They do still watch late night. So maybe that's Bebe's shot. The weekend tour is also apparently still going. I don't know how, but he's got this big ass statue here now. It does look really cool, but I just can't believe this. He's been on the same tour for what, like 5 years? Because I saw this tour. I saw it when it started. And he's still on it. They've been changing the set list and stuff based on his newer releases. But I don't know if it's ending anytime soon. It does look really cool, though. Look at that statue. Carol G also just started a tour. She had a sold-out show in Chicago for the first night. There were over 100 trucks as like part of the production. It does seem like it was mostly, from the clips that I saw, it was mostly the same as like the Coachella set, or at least it was like very, very similar to that. But it's reportedly like 2.5 hours. It was sold out in Chicago, though there was a little bit of debate about the ticket sales prior to that. But here she was on night 2. Even with all that production, even with those 100 trucks, there was a technical malfunction, but she handled it well. Maybe it wasn't, because it almost seems like that's not during the show, that maybe that was like before the show or after the show. I don't know, but like, it is just cute. It's very cute. But I'm sure that's a good show. Because her Coachella set was incredible. And then Morgan Wallen, He was at the big house at the University of Michigan, which drives me fucking nuts. So for years, for decades, the University of Michigan, the big house, the big stadium that is in like almost central Ann Arbor, they have refused to do anything at the stadium except for football games. There has never been any sort of concert there at all until, like, I want to say maybe probably less than a year ago, they had Zach Bryan perform. And then I think like last week, they had Morgan Wallen come out and perform. So they have done 2 music acts so far at the University of Michigan Stadium, both of which are country artists. Like, can we get a girly in here? Can we get a pop star? Can we even just get like a rock concert? I'll kind of take anything else, to be honest with you. Why are they so committed to only doing country? I don't understand. I guess because it is fucking popular. People do like it. It's doing really well. I'll never understand. But then we have some upcoming music. So Robin has announced a Talk to Me remix with Zara Larsson, which is out tomorrow, which I'm very, very excited about. Benny Blanco has a song coming out with his wife, Selena Gomez, along with Becky G, which will be out the 31st. Excited about that. We have some other announcements. Orville Peck has announced his 4th studio album out September 18th. Victoria Monet has announced a new album out October 2nd. Role Model is announcing a new album or teasing a new album. I guess we already have a date for that, October 7th. They did a track list reveal with these like little scratch off tickets for the songs, which that's really cute. I like that. Tate McRae is teasing some new music. She put out these posters somewhere, I don't know exactly where, but people have been closing up on one of the numbers here that appears to be a date of some kind. I can't tell. It says August, and is that a 1? Is it a 2? Is it a 0? And then there's another 1 or something. So August something 2026. Either August 1st, August 21st, August 11th. I don't know what that fucking number is. And then there are rumors about a Dua Lipa album coming out in October as well. No real info on it, but this is just from Pop Tings. It says Dua Lipa's upcoming DL4 album is rumored to be in the final phase of production with the first single scheduled for October. So I guess, yeah, the first single, but not the album in October. There's also a rumor about Gaga and Beyonce doing something together, which I'm just choosing not to believe this at the current moment because I don't want to get my hopes up about anything, ever. But supposedly the song has already been registered. I don't know. I feel like Pop Tings gets things wrong a lot, but they did get something right recently. So Miley Cyrus, they wrote the other day, is rumored to be releasing a new album in 2026. So the project is expected to feature a progressive pop sound with electronic influences, with a major announcement reportedly planned in the coming weeks. Miley is rumored to have changed her management team following the Something Beautiful era. So they put that out, yesterday it looks like. And then just today, turns out they might have been right, because Miley Cyrus has announced that she has signed to Atlantic Records. She has switched her record label. She also did like a guest edit thing with Wonderland magazine where she did, I didn't read any of it, but I guess she said in the magazine that she wants to return to acting and begin directing film projects. And then there was a tease for a new album saying that the album is a love story, but love stories are never one-dimensional. They're always layered. There is definitely a romantic thread weaving through it because, like all my records, it's a reflection of where I am in my life, but this one feels especially meaningful because this feeling has stayed with me through multiple eras. So, okay, cool. New album coming. Love it. Love that we're getting a little bit of pubes in the photo as well. Just a little bit. Just a little touch. We're also getting some new Slater. She's been teasing something new. Very excited about that. It looks like it is The Worst Man in America. I don't know if that's what the album is going to be titled, but she did wear a hat in this new little promo thing that says Worst Man in America. So people are putting these photos next to each other. It's like the inverse. So one, it's got the man down here while she stands up there. Now she's wearing the hat that says Worst Man in America with a man standing there. You know, it is what it is. She said on the 11th, inverse my life, inverse the album, inverse the red, inverse it all. So I guess it's all supposed to be an inverse. I feel like that's a little gimmicky, and I will need to hear some of the music first just to say how I think that like this inverse theme is really gonna pan out thematically, but I'm definitely, I love the album, the first album so much that I'm fully seated, fully willing to let her cook. She's apparently performed 5 new songs at her recent hometown show in St. Louis. I haven't listened to those clips at all, so I don't know what they sounded like, but I'm really looking forward to it. And she has also had her stage at Lollapalooza upgraded to the Bud Light stage. Still performing fairly early, 2:45 to 3:30, but maybe we'll at least get to see her performance live, unlike with Coachella. There also were a few other new releases this last week. So Willow apparently released an album. I haven't listened to it. I didn't know that it was coming out, but that's something that people can go listen to if they would like to. Then Tyla. There were a few other songs that released as well. There was a new Doja and Lotto music video. Karol G did release a new song as well. And then Casey Musgraves also released a new music video for Mexico Honey. It was fine. But the big releases, first was Tyla and her new album, A-Pop. I listened to it. It was okay. Not like my thing necessarily, but it's a cute album. She did also announce a tour. And she performed recently with Shakira, which, as I saw someone else say, Shakira is the mother who stepped up, because Tyla really should be Rihanna's daughter, but Rihanna has not fully embraced Miss Tyla. But here they are performing Hips Don't Lie. It's cute. Tyla also performed on the Today Show recently. We love any of the girls who get up at 8 a.m. to perform on the morning shows. It is part of the journey to pop stardom, and so we love a girlie who puts in the work. I have to say though, Tyla was being upstaged a little bit by this dancer here, who did an incredible job right behind Tyla. Yeah, I was barely looking at Tyla throughout that entire thing. But it's a cute album. I definitely think that, like, I'll probably listen to it more later. However, it did come out the same week as Charlie's new album, and I did have a priority. So I listened to Charlie's first, then I listened to Tyla. Then immediately I was like, I just would like to listen to Charlie again, so I just went back to it. I haven't really revisited Tyla's album at all, but I will at a later point. But let's talk about this new Charli XCX album. So, it's got a 79 on Album of the Year. Pretty good score so far. People are liking it. It is very, very much a response to Brat and the success of Brat and Charlie's own newfound success outside of the Kaya Asylum. She said, I was going through a period of feeling extremely uninspired, and then suddenly out of the blue came the seeds of the idea for music, fashion, film. I do think that we're saying she was going through a period of feeling extremely uninspired. I'm like, girl, Brat came out not that long ago, and also you've been in multiple movies, and you've done an entire soundtrack for a movie. So, like, I feel like your period of uninspired is not very long, but probably felt long to her. She says, I like to start making things the second inspiration strikes, and I feel extremely lucky to have a group of people around me who are down to trust me and just go with it. Thank you for being cool with me and always down for the ride. Special thanks to A.G. Cook, Finke, so yeah, a whole bunch of people there. So, a strike of inspiration is behind this album, and it does feel like that. It feels very immediate. It feels very, yeah, just like of the moment. I wouldn't say stream of consciousness, but for sure there is a feeling of urgency with the album. It doesn't feel like something she sat on for a while, and obviously she couldn't have sat on it for a while because it's out now. But so let's go through it kind of track by track because it's a short album, so we won't be here for very long. But start off with rock music, which I've always liked. I have always been pro rock music. I think other people didn't get it at first that are now starting to come around to it. Some people still don't get it. I always got it. I always liked it. And I do think that it's a very good opening track for the album because I think I don't want to say exactly what the song is about because I don't know, and I think that ultimately this song is up to interpretation. It's something that you can take a lot of different meanings out of, but for me it was always something meant to comment on just sort of the persona of Brat, or like the trappings of Brat, the box that she got placed in because of Brat, but then also somewhat about the pressure as like a pop star to reinvent and to create a new thing, and the idea that she's like this arbiter of cool because of Brat, where she's saying, you know, that I think the dance floor is dead, so now we're making rock music. I always took that as fairly sarcastic, but I do think it's also somewhat sincere, and I think that's the tough thing about categorizing this song or like interpreting it, is I think that there is a mixture of like sincerity and sarcasm. It is somewhat ironic, but it is also genuine, and that's sort of like what a Charlie song is a lot of the time, you know? There's a mix of different things happening. But there's so much debate too about whether or not this should be classified as a rock song, which Charlie herself said that it's not a rock song, but I do think it's kind of a rock song, right? Like, there's also some questions in here about genre and about how music in general gets categorized, because what is it specifically that makes it not a rock song? It certainly has elements that are associated with rock. Is it the presence of like the electronic vocals and like the glitchiness of it? Is that automatically not rock? I don't think so, but I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is rock, but I also wouldn't necessarily say that it's not. And I think that that is an interesting idea to play with, especially for Charlie, who is, again, like, got put into a very specific box with the fact that Brat is her first, like, huge hit album that makes her, like, you know, a household name. She is so associated with that. So I always like rock music. I still like rock music, and I got it the first time. Spring Summer 26, I also got the first time. I appreciated it, but my love for it has definitely grown. It feels very... I mean, it just sort of is expressing the kind of feelings that I think a lot of us are having right now, of just like, yeah, it does kind of feel like the world is gonna end and there's nothing we can do about it. But like music and fashion and film, it'll help us get through the moment, but it's not gonna save us. And so I've seen some people say that these lyrics are like too on the nose or whatever, but I'm like, but why should it not be? This is how a lot of us are feeling. This is how Charlie was feeling as well. And there's also, again, like a commentary in here about what her persona is, what her public image is. Like, think my politics could work as a press strategy and my heritage could give me quite the USP. So just this idea as well that one of the reasons music and fashion and film won't really save us is that ultimately, even when you make statements or something, or even when you are coming from a particular background that is maybe meaningful to your work, it does get packaged in a certain way. It gets commodified in a very capitalistic function, which then lessens the actual meaningful change that art can have, because it does, especially in pop music, it does just become a thing to sell. So this song is also pretty fucking good, and I liked it the whole time. Now, Card Declined, I will say, this is a song that's kind of about, like, materialism a little bit, and it's also about, like, artificiality to some extent. So she says, let's go shopping, I'll buy a handbag, I'll buy some shoes, I'll buy a smile, I'll buy some jewelry, a personality, a whole backstory. Card declined. That one is also fairly on the nose, and I do appreciate the song for the message of it. It feels very in line with the rest of the album. It feels very important in the album in terms of what the entire project is saying and what it's exploring about Charlie's new life. That being said, is this a song that I think I'm going to revisit a whole bunch? Probably not. There is just kind of something about the production of it where I don't find it that interesting. Like, I just don't have a hunger to revisit it over and over again. Even in all the times that I've listened to the album since it came out, which I've listened to it a few times, it's just not the song that, like, excites me the most when it gets started. It is the longest song on the record. Or no, not the longest. I think it's like the second longest or something. I think the final song is longer. But it's one of the longest ones, but it's actually kind of two songs. And this part I feel mixed about. I think it's interesting to have a second song start after the other one is, like, fully ended, because it's not like it really transitions into a new part of the song. One part of the song fully stops, it ends, it's done, and then another song that doesn't even seem that connected thematically starts, and it's a short little, like, 20-second song, and I kind of just feel like I don't know why she decided to tack it on to the end of this song and not just do a separate track. Because, like, why not just have a song that's 20 seconds on the record? I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but I'm sure there was a vision that I'm maybe not getting at the current moment. This is, I'll say, the first song where it's like, maybe I don't immediately get it. I understood these two right away. This song, I'm like, maybe it'll grow on me. But I don't quite understand the decision that was made here. Then the next one, Camera. She did also release the music video for this song, which was very good. I do really like this one. It's very specifically about her transition into, like, film, and not just doing music, but being a girl on film, being a girl on camera. Pretty on the nose again, where she even says, where's the thing about 34? Is it in the first verse? Oh yeah, if I'm trying to be a girl on the screen when I'm turning 34. You know, it is expressing this specific part of her life. I do appreciate the song a lot. I like it. Do I think I'm going to be revisiting it that much? I think probably more than I will Card Declined. But it's not totally my favorite. Not yet. Maybe it'll grow on me where I'm gonna be, like, obsessed with it, but I do appreciate the chorus here of, like, how it makes me feel, how it makes me feel. Yeah, it makes me feel. It's very basic, but it does definitely leaves things up to interpretation to some extent, because to say how it makes me feel, it's like, well, that's pretty vague. How does it make you feel? And so there's empowerment in her saying that she wants to be in front of a camera increasingly, But there's also maybe something kind of eerie in that too, because the whole song does have a kind of like eerie vibe to it. So it feels complicated, I guess I'll say. 2007, I appreciate definitely for the production on it, especially. I do kind of wish there was a little more happening in the lyrics. And part of my issue with this song is just because of the amount of nostalgia bait we've had in a lot of pop songs. And Charlie's leaned into it before, like 1999 obviously is very like nostalgia focused. But then there's other people even more recently with like Demi Lovato doing that low-rise jeans song. It's all just gotten a little on the nose in terms of referencing the 2000s. And I think with Charlie, it's more specifically based around the fact that like 2007 is around the time that her career started, so it's a little more personal. And also I am a little bit more tolerant of Charlie XCX leaning into the nostalgia bait period. But I do kind of wish there was a little bit more to the lyrics, even though I find the production of the song very listenable and enjoyable. But it's cute. I like it. I'm Afraid. This one, to me, I very, very much appreciate the sentiment of it. I don't think I'll be revisiting it a whole lot just because of my own preferences of like, it is a little bit slower of a song, and it is, you know, it's a song about her being afraid of like commitment and dealing with this new phase in her life where she is a married woman, but she also still feels like she's a kid, etc. I think it is almost the emotional core of the entire album, perhaps, but do I feel a huge drive to listen to it again? Not that much. I'm like, I get it. Like, take the ring. I understand. But I'm not super interested in it, just like sonically. Yeah, very, very simple lyrics here where she just says, I don't wanna, wait, now I wanna feel it. You don't wanna, wait, now you wanna feel it. Cool production, love it, love the song. Not a whole lot to talk about here. I think you could obviously read a lot of stuff into these lyrics. Lyrically very basic, but still a cute song to listen to. Wink, wink. I had my complaint about it from the beginning of it being way too fucking short. I do think in the context of the album, since every song is so short, that it doesn't bother me as much. But for sure, I still think that, like, I would have loved a bridge on this. I just would have loved a bridge and then one more chorus. Because I think that this is kind of one of the songs that it is sort of, it's a more traditional song in a way. Sort of. It's still not totally traditional, but it's not the same as, like, Yeah or 2007, where she's just repeating like the same words over and over again. There's a little bit more substance to the lyrics, and so for that reason I'm like, oh, I would have loved to see this expanded upon, but that's okay. I do like it. And then Persona, love this one. This is one of my favorites on the song, or on the album so far, like of the songs that are newer to me. I am a little, I mean, ultimately, it's written kind of vaguely enough that you can put a whole bunch of different interpretations on it, and I think that's sort of the point. But I am conflicted about what I think. If there is a specific person that this is about, I don't know who it is. So here are the lyrics. Sometimes I wonder if you realize the way you come across, it's kind of crazy. Wish you could be honest about your internal dialogue. It wouldn't faze me. You like the sound of your voice and I like the sound of mine. Every day you're suffering, but you say you're doing fine. I love the stories you tell, but I can tell when you lie. Don't fucking choke on your ego when you see me coming. I know you're performing. I know that you're hurting. So you try to hide it when you see me coming. Don't want to confront it. I'm scared I'm annoying. You call me your best friend to keep me at arm's length. I'd write you a letter, but you'd probably burn it. Deflect and then shower me in adoration. You think you're so clever. I think you are too. You know I see you when you see me. I gotta say, I do respect the commitment to the bit now that's persona. We're both under the influence of life imitating art, and we both know it. And then pre-chorus again, chorus, post-chorus. I find it frustrating. Sometimes I get triggered, and that's probably because you and I are alike. Yeah, you think I'm so clever. I'm so clever. You think I am too. You know, I know you see me when I see you. So, could be about a specific person. Could be about multiple different people. Different people have different guesses. So this is from like the Charlie XCX subreddit. This person wonders if it's about Rina Sawayama. I've definitely seen a lot of persons saying Taylor Swift, especially because of the actually romantic sympathy as a knife of it all. And then I've also seen Maddie Healy. I've seen Sky Ferreira. A lot of different people. I do think... I don't know. I could kind of maybe see it about being about Taylor just because they've both already written songs about each other. So it kind of falls into this, you know I see you when you see me. Like there's some sort of like a back and forth here. I could also see it being about Maddie because of the thing about you call me your best friend, I secretly love it. I don't think Taylor's ever called Charlie her best friend. I don't know about Rina Sawayama or Sky Ferreira. But there's a lot of people that it could be about, and it kind of depends on how you're interpreting certain lines. Like, you call me your best friend to keep me at arm's length. Is that literal, or is that maybe... I've seen some people say that it could be a reference to actually romantic and how Taylor was trying to up the, like, romanticism or whatever of their relationship. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's a stretch. And I feel like a lot of people just want to kind of fit Taylor into this narrative because she's Taylor Swift. But I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I've also seen people say that it is a reference to the Ingmar Bergman's film Persona, which I've never seen, but that's something where I believe... Like... I think it has something... I haven't seen it, but from what it says here, the story revolves around a young nurse named Alma and her patient, well-known stage actress Elizabeth Vogler, who has suddenly stopped speaking. They move to a cottage where Alma cares for Elizabeth, confides in her, and begins having trouble distinguishing herself from her patient. So maybe that has something to do with it. People think that it could also be about Charlie herself, that she's talking to herself, but I don't know. Some of these lyrics to me sound like it has to be an external person. Maybe. Just to say that you call me your best friend to keep me at arm's length, I don't know how much that would make sense if it were about herself. People think that it's about her, like, brat persona. I don't know. I have no idea. But here's what Charlie had to say about it in her film that she released.
It's funny how many people asked whether Persona was about them. I suppose if you do think that that song is about you, then I kind of guess it is about you. It's very, you're so vain in that way. I guess I have narcissistic friends, but I mean, I love them all. And this song's about me too, so... guess I'm just one of them.
So yeah, there it is. And she says it's about me too, which means to me that it's not only about herself. Like, she's not just singing about herself in the song. So there has to be somebody else that she's singing about. But maybe it's multiple people. Maybe it's an amalgamation of multiple people. Maybe it's... I don't know. I don't know at all. But that's fun, isn't it? Isn't that what we want? We want to be able to put our own interpretation onto these lyrics. Because I think you really could read it as so many different people. I think, for me, I could, listening to it and thinking of Maddie Healy, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense to me. And then also listening to it, thinking of it as Taylor Swift, I'm like, that also kind of makes sense. Maybe it also makes sense with Rina. Maybe it also makes sense with Sky Ferreira. I don't know. Well, there's a lyric in here, too, about... I see your face in a film and it makes me want to cry. And that, I mean, that could be about Charlie. because she is in so many films recently, but like who else does she know that's in a bunch of films right now or recently or ever? I guess Taylor Swift was in Cats. Maybe that's what she's talking about. She watched Cats and makes her want to makes her want to cry. Don't know. But then this one, this song is unambiguous about its subject matter. So this is a little kind of love song, friendship love song to A.G. Cook. It's very, very cute. So she says, call you A.G. in my phone book. Feels so special just to know you. You're my best friend, but we don't talk. We make music. We talk that way. Drink some whiskey, but not really. You don't drink, so I'll drink for two. Love your haircut, love your dance moves, love your girlfriend. I'd cry if you died. You speak my language, but we're different. You like old things, magic, metal in Montana. I want your life with only child stuff. We're the same. I'd be nothing without you. I think you taught me. I think I taught you. You believe me. I believe you. Thank you so much. I'm lucky because you make it easy for me. You make it easy for me. It's very cute. That one was so cute. I loved it. How sweet. You don't really even have much to say about that one other than, aw, it's so nice. And I like the production on it. It's a very cute song. And then the final one, No One Lasts Forever. This one is the most kind of existential song on the album. She says, I don't want to go home. Now I'm more confident than ever. Since everyone knows my name, all the parties got better. So now I'm sitting on the floor of a Parisian apartment with a French girl talking about philosophy. And I know deep down that it's here and now because nothing's going to last forever. No, nothing's going to last forever. Everyone thinks I've got a problem since everyone knows my name, that I'm irresponsible and rude, that I'll put the drugs in my veins. So now I'm sitting on the floor of a Parisian apartment with a French girl talking about reality. She says, no one really knows what the future holds, but we know nothing's going to last forever. And no one's gonna last forever. That's why I'm not scared of anyone, because nothing's gonna last forever, but you need to discover that feeling of the crushing highs and lows of ego, where one minute you know you're the worst, and the next moment you know you're the best, then everyone in the room, but know that nothing's gonna last forever. And then there is like a little clip from David Cronenberg at the end, where it's just a repeated line over and over again at the very end of they are dead, they are gone, no one lasts forever. Over and over and over again. It's very cool. I love it. When the song comes on shuffle, I will be skipping past this part. I will almost certainly never be finishing this song on most of my listens, but I do like it. And it definitely feels like a good send-off to Brat in a way of Charlie acknowledging the transformative nature of life and not clinging to a specific moment, because even though Brat was a moment culturally, nothing lasts forever. She has to move on. She has to continue making more art, more music, fashion, and film. So it's a good album. It's a very good kind of tribute to this moment in Charlie's life. Will I be listening to the album as much as I've listened to some of her previous albums? Not just Brat, but her previous albums? Probably not. I probably won't revisit it as much. Though, you know, I mean, when you do revisit it, it is only like a 30-minute album, so like it goes down pretty easy. But yeah, I think it is more specific to the moment that Charlie is in and not something that is... not something that like reflects the realities a lot of people live in, to the point that I don't know how many people are going to find this specifically relatable. Like, Brat is also very specific to the period that Charlie was in personally when she wrote it, but I think that those themes are a little bit more easily translatable to other people's experiences compared to this one, because it's so specifically about, you know, like, being on film and being in the limelight. And so, you know, I'm very glad that Charlie made it because of where she's at, but I don't think it's going to be my album of the year, for sure. But that's okay. There also is other stuff as well. There was the film that she released for every track. There's visuals that go along with all of it. I wouldn't say they're, like, terribly exciting visuals for most songs, but it is still something to look at. Then there's also the B-sides that she's released, and some of them, she said that she has no plans to put them on streaming for the time period, but I hope she changes her mind about that, because some of them are very, very good, and I would like to listen to them in my normal, the platforms that I normally listen to music on. But, you know, that's up to her, I suppose. I just very much would like it if they got put onto streaming. So, there it is. There's the album. It's good. And that's all I have to say about that. And that's really all I have to say, period. It was a very light week. We did have a few good music releases, but not a whole lot to say, so this might be our shortest stream yet. But that's okay, we've all gotta go watch BB Rexa on Jimmy Fallon. Alright, let's go to our Honorary Pop Girlies. We'll be back next week with, or not next week, I'll be doing the member stream next week, but the week after, Ariana's album will have come out, so we'll have a lot to talk about then. But here's our Honorary Pop Girlies. Obviously, ABDUL. Had to put that back in there, just, you know, to remind everyone, especially anyone that wasn't here at the beginning of the stream. If you're in Michigan, please vote for this man on August 4th is the actual election. Yeah, August 4th is the actual election, and I think you can still do early voting up to the 2nd. So, there you go. Make sure you get on that. And then our other Honorary Pop Girly. It's Toe Shark. So this is another animal who has gone semi-viral, on Twitter at least is where I've seen it. It's a little cattle dog of some kind in the water with a person. Water looks dirty as hell, by the way. Dirty as hell. But okay. Let's ignore that part. But he just takes a little nibble out of a toe.
Ow! What are you doing? You little rascal. What are you, some kind of piranha? Yeah.
Ugh, look at how dirty that water is. Ooh, gross.
What are you doing? Ow. You're just reckless.
But what a little cutie, little toe shark.
Ow.
Anyway, that's all I got. I will see you guys after the Senate primary election and also after the Ariana Grande album. And I very, very much look forward to that Ariana Grande album. I think I'm gonna, and supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but I saw earlier today, supposedly Spotify already has the lyrics and they're gonna launch right away. I don't know why that doesn't happen all the time. I don't know why I have to wait for Spotify to upload the lyrics to an album, but they make me do it. But apparently the Ariana Grande album is gonna have those lyrics right away, and she's been teasing a lot of lyrics in the lead up, so I think this is going to be a very, very, like, lyric heavy album, like lyric focused album, and I'm very excited about that. So maybe we'll be doing a lot of lyric analyses when we come back. But I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.